What's up, everyone? And welcome back to Today Assets Report, the channel where we bring you the latest news, insights, and honest predictions on the crypto market and beyond. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about cryptocurrencies right now, XRP. If you've been following the crypto space, you already know that XRP has been making some serious waves lately. And the big question on everyone's mind is whether we're about to witness a massive price explosion in 2026. Now, I know what you're thinking, another price prediction video, right? But hold on, because what we're going to discuss today is different. We're not here to sell you hype or unrealistic moon predictions. Instead, we're going to break down the fundamentals, the market dynamics, the regulatory landscape, and the technical indicators that could actually support a major XRP rally in the coming year. So if you're holding XRP, thinking about buying XRP, or just curious about where this asset is headed, you're definitely in the right place. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future coverage, because we're going to be tracking this story closely as it develops throughout the year. Now, let's get one thing straight right from the start. XRP has had one of the most controversial and dramatic journeys of any cryptocurrency in the entire market. If you've been around crypto for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. XRP isn't just another altcoin that popped up and faded away. This is a digital asset that's been around since 2012, created by Ripple Labs with a very specific purpose in mind: to revolutionize cross-border payments and provide financial institutions with a faster, cheaper alternative to traditional banking systems. For years, XRP was actually one of the top cryptocurrencies by market cap, sitting comfortably in the top 3 alongside Bitcoin and Ethereum. But then everything changed in December 2020 when the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filed a lawsuit against Ripple Labs, alleging that XRP was an unregistered security. That lawsuit sent shockwaves through the entire crypto community and caused XRP's price to absolutely tank. Exchanges started delisting it, investors panicked, and for a long time it looked like XRP might never recover. But here's the thing, Ripple didn't back down. They fought the SEC tooth and nail, and in July 2023, they scored a major legal victory when a judge ruled that XRP was not a security when sold on public exchanges. That ruling was huge, and it reignited interest in XRP almost overnight. So why are people suddenly so bullish on XRP for 2026? Well, there are actually several factors at play here, and we need to look at each one individually to get the full picture. First and foremost, the regulatory environment around cryptocurrencies in the United States and around the world is starting to shift in a more positive direction. For the longest time, crypto has existed in this gray area where regulations were either non-existent or incredibly hostile. But now governments are starting to realize that they can't just ignore crypto or try to ban it outright. They need to create frameworks that allow innovation while also protecting consumers. In the U.S., there's been a lot of discussion about potential new crypto legislation. And interestingly, some key political figures have started to take more pro-crypto stances. This is important for XRP specifically because Ripple has always positioned itself as a company that wants to work with regulators, not against them. They've been very vocal about supporting sensible regulation, and if the U.S. does implement clearer crypto laws in the next year or two, XRP could be one of the biggest beneficiaries. Why? Because institutional investors and banks are much more likely to adopt and use XRP if there's regulatory clarity. Right now, many institutions are sitting on the sidelines waiting for that clarity, and once it comes, we could see a flood of new money entering the XRP ecosystem. Another major factor driving optimism around XRP is the ongoing expansion of Ripple's payment network and partnerships. Despite all the legal challenges and market volatility, Ripple has continued to grow its business and sign up new clients. We're talking about major financial institutions, banks, and payment providers from all around the world. Ripple's on-demand liquidity service, which uses XRP to facilitate instant cross-border payments, has been gaining serious traction in markets across Asia, Latin America, the Middle East, and even parts of Europe. These aren't just small pilot programs either. These are real, live commercial deployments where actual money is being moved using XRP. Every time Ripple announces a new partnership or a new corridor opening up, it adds more utility and demand to the XRP token. And here's the key point: utility drives value. When a cryptocurrency has real-world use cases and is actually being used to solve problems, That creates organic demand that can support long-term price appreciation. This isn't just speculation or hype, this is fundamental value being built over time. So as Ripple continues to expand its network and more transactions flow through the XRP ledger, we could see that reflected in the price, especially if adoption accelerates throughout 2026. Now let's talk about what institutional adoption could mean for XRP. This is something that doesn't get enough attention in most crypto discussions, but it's absolutely critical. One of the things that sets XRP apart from many other cryptocurrencies is that it was specifically designed with financial institutions in mind. Ripple's whole business model is built around selling software and services to banks and payment providers, and XRP is the bridge asset that makes their on-demand liquidity service work. If major banks and financial institutions start using XRP at scale for cross-border payments, we're talking about potentially trillions of dollars in transaction volume flowing through the XRP ledger. That's not an exaggeration. The global cross-border payments market is absolutely massive, worth trillions of dollars annually. Even if XRP captures just a small percentage of that market, the impact on price could be substantial. The challenge has always been getting these institutions to actually adopt the technology, and that's where regulatory clarity becomes so important. Banks are extremely risk-averse, and they won't touch anything that might get them in trouble with regulators. But once that regulatory uncertainty is removed, the barriers to adoption drop significantly. Let's also address the elephant in the room. What are the risks? Because as much as we want to be optimistic, we also need to be realistic and honest about what could go wrong. First, the regulatory situation, while improving, is still not completely resolved. The SEC could potentially appeal certain aspects of the Ripple case, or new regulatory challenges could emerge from other jurisdictions. If we see another major regulatory crackdown or unfavorable ruling, that could absolutely derail any bullish momentum. Second, competition in the blockchain payment space is fierce. XRP isn't the only player trying to solve the cross-border payments problem. We have other cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, and even central bank digital currencies that are all competing for the same market. If a competitor comes up with a better solution or gains more market share, that could limit XRP's growth potential. Third, there's always the risk of broader market volatility. Cryptocurrencies are still highly volatile assets, and external factors like economic recessions, geopolitical tensions, or changes in monetary policy could trigger market-wide sell-offs that would impact XRP regardless of its fundamentals. So what are the actual price predictions for XRP in 2026? Well, if you look around the internet, you'll find predictions ranging from extremely conservative to absolutely wild. Some analysts think XRP could reach $5, $10, or even higher if everything goes right. Others are much more cautious, suggesting that XRP might struggle to break past $2 or $3 even in a bull market. The truth is, nobody really knows for sure. Price prediction in crypto is notoriously difficult because there are so many variables at play, many of which are impossible to predict with any accuracy. What we can do is look at different scenarios and try to assess their probability. In a best-case scenario where we get full regulatory clarity, widespread institutional adoption, a strong crypto bull market, and continued expansion of Ripple's payment network, XRP could realistically target the $5 to $10 range, or potentially even higher. In a moderate scenario where some of these factors materialize, but not all of them, we might see XRP reach the $2 to $5 range. And in a worst-case scenario where regulatory headwinds return or the market turns bearish, XRP could struggle to hold current levels or even decline. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize one more time that everything we've discussed today needs to be taken with appropriate caution and perspective. The crypto market is incredibly unpredictable, and even the most well-researched predictions can be completely wrong. XRP has tremendous potential, and there are legitimate reasons to be optimistic about its prospects in 2026, but there are also significant risks and no guarantees. If you're thinking about investing in XRP or any cryptocurrency, please do your own research, only invest what you can afford to lose, and consider consulting with a financial advisor who understands the crypto space. Don't make investment decisions based solely on YouTube videos or social media hype. Look at multiple sources, understand the technology, assess the risks, and make informed decisions that align with your own financial goals and risk tolerance. So, to bring this all together, are we looking at an XRP price explosion in 2026? Based on everything we've examined today, From the regulatory improvements to the growing utility, from the potential for institutional adoption to the strength of the community, there's definitely a case to be made that XRP could have a very strong year ahead. The pieces are falling into place in a way that we haven't seen since before the SEC lawsuit disrupted everything. But we need to stay grounded and remember that potential doesn't always translate into reality. The next 12 months are going to be absolutely critical for XRP, and we'll be watching closely to see how things develop. Thanks so much for watching today's Assets Report. If you found this analysis helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments what you think about XRP's prospects for 2026. Are you bullish, bearish, or somewhere in between? I'd love to hear your perspective. Until next time, stay informed, stay cautious, and happy investing.